Hello folks, welcome back to the channel and also to a much cooler day, thank goodness, here in the UK today. This is my DJI Mini 3 Pro. This is the battery that it came with. Now, DJI also offer larger capacity batteries for this drone to extend the flight time. However, I don't have one of these to show you because DJI have not made them available here in the UK or the rest of Europe. But why is that? Why would DJI restrict the sale of their product in our region? Well, that's what we're going to be looking into today. Now, I have seen all manner of speculation about this online, about DJI not wanting to confuse its pilots by giving them a battery that takes the drone out of its 250 gram weight limit, but then that would also apply to other regions where there are more restrictions in place for drones over 250 grams, where they are still selling the Flight Battery Plus. So what's going on here? If you have been flying drones for a while, then you'll be aware that there are numerous regulated categories that determine each flight. The most relevant category is called the open category, and this covers us for the vast majority of our flights using DJI's consumer drones. The open category, which covers all low-risk flying, is itself split into three subcategories. Drones that have a camera but have a maximum takeoff weight of under 250 grams are able to fly in the more lenient A1 subcategory. And this is what allows for flying over residential and commercial areas, and even in fact directly over uninvolved people, so long as they are not part of a crowd. Most flights with the DJI Mini 3 Pro will occur within the A1 subcategory, which is why it, along with other sub 250 gram drones, are just so popular with pilots and hobbyists. There is simply the fewest restrictions applied to flying with it. Now, despite the sub 250 gram mass being the main selling feature of DJI's Mini range, they are also selling an optional larger battery called the Intelligent Flight Battery Plus for the Mini 3 Pro, which extends the flight time from 34 minutes to a much more impressive 47 minutes, quite the boost. However, the downside is that this additional weight of the larger battery will then tip the Mini 3 Pro over that important 250 gram limit. Okay, fine. But why would this prevent DJI from selling this optional accessory in the EU and UK regions? I mean, of course, it's perfectly legal for you if you want to import their Battery Plus product from a region where it is sold and use that here in these regions where it is not sold. Doing so would just mean you have to then fly your Mini 3 Pro in the A2 or A3 subcategories in the same way that you would be required for any drone with a takeoff mass greater than 250 grams. So why, in fact, have DJI seemingly arbitrarily chosen not to sell this product in the EU or UK, since, after all, there's nothing in our drone regulations preventing them from doing so, and yet they are saying no thanks to those additional profits. And folks, thank you for watching so far. If you are new around here, please do consider subscribing to my channel. We are well on the way to 3,000 subs, and reaching that would be absolutely incredible. Well, the answer has to do with how new drones will need to be labelled by their manufacturer in the near future. Rather than maximum takeoff mass being what determines the category a drone can fly under, from 2023, new drones will have to be physically labelled with a new class identification system, and it is this that will then determine the correct flying category. The classifications will be Class 0, Class 1 and so on, through to Class 4. Class 0 and 1 will be able to fly under the A1 subcategory, just as our sub 250 gram drones do today. Now, DJI have confirmed that they have worked very hard to make sure that the Mini 3 Pro can be specified as a Class 0 drone. Now, of course, the class system is not yet in effect, and it is still being tweaked by the authorities, so drones sold today are not yet marked as such. However, from next year, if DJI continue to sell the Mini 3 Pro, which I'm sure they will be, it will then be required that they do include the correct identification of class system as a physical mark onto the drone itself. Now remember, the main selling point of the Mini 3 Pro is its ability to fly under the A1 subcategory, and so it is very important that DJI are able to use that Class 0 identification when the time comes for this drone. However, if they are also selling the official Battery Plus that would bring the Mini 3 Pro out of its Class 0 identity when it is used, then in fact no Mini 3 Pro could be labelled with that Class 0 mark, regardless of whether or not it is using the larger battery. And that's because if a pilot flies the Mini 3 Pro with the Battery Plus, then they would be flying a drone labelled as Class 0, even though that drone does not qualify to be Class 0, and then DJI could be landing themselves in, well, all manner of hot water. So right now, our current Mini 3 Pros do not include the class identification marks, and don't worry, they never will need to. But any Battery Plus that DJI sell today would still be usable in the future Mini 3 Pros that do require those class identification marks. Which means for DJI to sell the Intelligent Flight Battery Plus in Europe, they would then have to be prepared to label their future Mini 3 Pros probably as Class 2, which would push them out of the A1 subcategory, even when the customer has no intention of purchasing or using the Battery Plus. Honestly, to me, the whole class system is, in my opinion, just a complete nuisance. The whole intention of it was to simplify the concept of knowing when which category a drone can fly under, and yet it just seems to constantly complicate every variable. But for right now, at least, it seems that when flying the DJI Mini 3 Pro here in Europe or the UK, we are going to be stuck with using the smaller battery that is included with it. And honestly, I can't really blame DJI for that. They're not going to want to be labelling this product with a Class 2 sticker starting from next year, because that's going to undermine the whole point of this being one of their mini drones. But the whole classification system, in my opinion, has been more of a burden than it has been a help, at least so far, but hopefully some of the wrinkles will continue to get ironed out with this system going forward. But folks, I do hope that the information today has at least been enlightening as to the current situation. Thank you so much for watching. Please come back next time for more DJI Mini 3 Pro content, and I look forward to catching up with you again then. Take care, everybody.